Perfect. Okay, so let's get ready to start. So find yourself a nice comfortable place and just think about the feeling of your feet going through the floor onto the mat. Or onto the floor beside you, wherever you're choosing to stand. Think about where the pressure's going through your feet. So roll your weight onto your toes, take the weight onto your heels, and just rock forwards and backwards. So you're just acknowledging the pressure that's going through both parts of your feet. And then you're going to find your way halfway between the two. So halfway between toes on the all the weight on toes and all the weight onto your heels. So stay nice and relaxed through there. Now, from that position there, what I want you to do is imagine that the arches of your feet are raising up. I mean, physically, you're not going to be able to raise them up, but just imagine if you could draw the arches of your feet up. And what you might notice is the more you think about raising the arches of your feet, try not to scrunch your toes, just think about drawing the arches up. The more you start to think about drawing the arches up, the more you start to switch on through your pelvis. There we go. Okay, now keep connection with your feet. Keep thinking about drawing up through the arches and just circle through your shoulders. There we go. Just circle through. Lovely. Just get some movement going through your shoulders. All those creaks and groans and crunches that are going on, that's all fine. Just circle through. Make the circle as big as you can. So really think about squeezing your shoulder blades together as you circle them back. Draw them right the way down as if you're lengthening your neck. There we go, good. And we'll do some bigger circles. So breathe in, take your arms up, and breathe out as your arms come down. If your shoulders are quite stiff, you can come to halfway, take your arms out and down, but just get some bit more movement going through. If you can sweep your arms all the way towards the ceiling, then take them all the way around. Fantastic, good. Nice breath in as you stretch up, and a breath out as your arms come down. Perfect. Let's try and stretch through the whole of the body. We're still engaging through the arches of your feet. So you're still thinking about lifting up through the arches, but we're going to come onto your tiptoes as you go up and breathe out as you come down. Good. Breathe in, come all the way up and breathe out as you come down. Still engage with those arches. 2 more onto your tiptoes. Super. Last one, breathe in and sweep the arms down. Perfect, good. Right, we're going to do a little work today, switching on through the side parts of your waist and the deep core muscles that come around the side rather than focusing on the front today. So we're going to start waking those muscles up with a spine twist. So arms come out in front of you, neck nice and long, shoulders round into your back pockets. Still think about raising up through your arches of your feet, or if that's really not working for you, just draw your tummy button in towards your spine. And as you breathe out, we're twisting round to one side. Keep your hips facing forwards. Breathe in as you come back to center. Breathe out, switch to the other side. And breathe in and come to center. So you're working with the breathing. Breathe out as you go to one side and breathe in as you come back to the center. Good. Breathe out, go to one side. Breathe in, come to the center. Keep going with that movement. I need you to focus on your hips so they're facing forwards. Okay, if you over twist and you allow your hips to go with you, what happens is the pressure comes down through your knees and we start to grind through the cartilage. Knees don't like twisting when your feet are on the floor. So keep your hips facing forwards. Switch on through your bottom muscles if that helps. So just squeeze through your bottom muscles. So you're pushing your hips forwards and breathe out as you twist to one side. Breathe in, come back to the center. Just check in, your shoulders haven't started to sneak up near your ears. Good. Breathe out, sweep round. Breathe in, come back to center. Good. Breathe out. And breathe in. One more to each side. Breathing out, keep those hips forward. Breathe into center. Keep drawing your tummy button in towards your spine. You're standing up nice and tall. Perfect. And let the arms just relax down. Try and just encourage your shoulders to relax. And we're going to take a breath out and we're going to slide down to one side. And then breathe in, come back up. Okay, as we do this, we're going to do it a few both sides. I want you to keep your hips stacked on top of your knees. What we're not doing is this lean over and come to the side. So keep your hips stacked on top of your knees. Breathe out, slide your side down. And then breathe in as you come back up. As you come back up, you're really working those side muscles. So start to think about switching those muscles on. So we'll breathe out, go to the other side. So it's starting to lengthen through the opposite side. And now we're going to switch on through these muscles and see if we can use your side muscles to draw you back up again. So you're not controlling it through your shoulders. We're working through these muscles here. So it takes a little bit of mind-body connection, but just see if you can really engage through those side muscles. So you're breathing out, lengthen through that side muscle there. And as you come back up, now here's where it's going to squeeze. I'm trying to draw my ribs down to my hip to come back up. Good. Breathe out as you slide down. Good. Breathe in, really engage. So as I engage to come down, I can feel my tummy button and coming in a little bit tighter as well. I haven't told it to do that, but I'm noticing that that's what's happening at the same time. So the more I try to switch my side muscles on, the more I'm getting engagement through my deep core as well. Perfect. Good. Breathe out. We'll do one more to each side. Breathe out, lengthen, and breathe in and come back up. Super. Breathe out and lengthen. Good. And breathe in and draw back up again. Perfect. Okay, let's come down onto your knees. So we're going to come into this position here. Okay, we're going to switch on through the glutes, and we're just going to think about the rib position in here. But the reason we come down onto the knees is because we get to work your bottom a little bit harder than you would do when you were standing. So switch on through your glutes, push your hips forward. So you make sure that from the side we haven't ended up like this. We're going to really switch on, make sure your hips are stacked on top of your knees. Okay, good. So from here, we're just going to go with the arms again. You're going to take a nice deep breath in, but draw the ribs down. So as you breathe in, don't let the ribs raise up with you. And breathe out as your arms come down. Good. Breathe in as you come up. Really think about drawing the ribs down. So you're just controlling that connection through there. Good. Here we go. Two more. Breathe in as you come up. And breathe out as you come down. Fantastic. Breathe in as you come up. Draw the ribs down. And breathe out as you circle around. Fantastic. Okay. From here, I'm going to get you to come right down onto all fours. So we're already down into this position here. For this first exercise, we're going to get knees and feet together, okay? I'm going to show you from this position first of all before we get going. So what we're going to do is you're going to just hover your toes off of the floor, and you're going to breathe out as you squeeze your hips towards one side and then come back to the center. We go to the other side. You're going to breathe out as you squeeze your feet round to one side. So we're switching on these side muscles again. So the position is from here, knees together, feet together. Hover your feet off of the mat, okay, and sweep both knees and feet round to one side. So as I come around here, I can really feel the muscles switching on this side, and then release back to center. Okay, breathe out, sweep them round to the other side. Really squeeze. So try not to make it that it's your legs doing the work. Feel that your waist is contracting, and that as your waist contracts, it's sort of pulling the knees round. Okay, good. You're going to have a little bit of breathe in as you soften back to neutral again. Okay, if you need to see from the other side, we are going like this. So feet come round, hips come in towards your ribs, and then release back out. Opposite side, hips towards your ribs. There we go. Good. One more to each side. Really contract those side muscles. Should really be feeling them starting to switch on now. The slower you go, the more contraction of the muscle you're going to get. There we go. And just finish up that one and sit yourself down onto your heels and lengthen your hands out. Good. We're just going to hang out in this child pose position. And we're going to engage with the breathing. So you're going to put your forehead down onto the mat if you can, if you're nice and comfortable. If you can't get your forehead down, grab a pillow and just rest your head on your forehead onto the pillow in that position. If it's uncomfortable through your back, you can open the knees a little bit wider to come down. So we're just going to hang out here for a minute or so and really think about the breathing coming into that low part of your ribs at the back. So as you breathe in, feel your breath coming all the way down to the base of your lungs, and you're opening up through the ribs at the bottom of your rib cage. And breathe out, let everything soften down. Good. So coming into this position helps you to really focus that breathing right down into your back rather than thinking about your chest raising and lowering. Really think about drawing the breath into your back. Good. 2 more breaths from this position. Lovely. Good. Breathe out. Let everything relax. Last breath in. Breathe in. Draw your breath right down to the base of the lungs. Feel those ribs widening at the bottom. Good. And breathe out as everything softens back down again. Fantastic. Good. Let's bring you into sitting. So, rolling over, come onto your bottoms. We'll have the legs out in front of you. A little bit of a bend through the knees. That's fine. Okay, we are going to have to do a little bit of work on the muscles at the front. So let's start to switch them on before we go to the sides again. So sit up nice and tall. Plonk your bottom into the mat to make sure you're sitting right on your sitting bones and you haven't slumped off onto your sacrum there. So up nice and tall. Draw your tummy button in towards your spine so you're really thinking about the connection through your deep core muscles there. When you are ready, you are going to breathe out. Now we're going to allow you to roll off your sitting bones and just lower yourself down. So you're breathing out. Breathe in and draw yourself back up again. Good. Just remember this exercise, what goes down must come back up again. It's easy to go down, but you've got to work to come back up. So it needs to be able to draw yourself back up comfortably without sort of shaking all over the place. Here we go. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out. Sink off your sitting bones. Roll that spine down. You might just get that lowest vertebra to make contact and then breathe in and draw yourself back up again. Good. So this is the easy version and it's quite nice just to get that mobility through the low part of your back. If you want to stick at this level, stick here. Okay, just keep going with this movement. If you want to progress it on a little bit more, here we go. We're going to take it down. You're going to pause. So you're going to roll yourself down as you breathe out. Hold it here. Breathe in and breathe out. And on the next breath in, you're going to roll back up again. So a little bit of core endurance there. Not too long, just one breath cycle. Let's do a couple more. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out. Roll yourself down. Good. Feel those muscles really working down through there. You're going to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in and allow yourself to roll back up again. If you're getting any pain in your back, obviously don't go down so far or just go back into the rolling down and rolling back up. Let's do one more and we're going to hold it. So breathe in to prepare, breathe out, roll down. Hold your position. Breathe in, breathe out, and breathe in as you come back up again. Perfect. Good. Right, now we're going to start to switch on through the sides. If you feel your hip flexors are a little bit tight, just take yourself into a little stretch, just to open up through your hip flexors like that for a second. You can stay there while I demonstrate the next one. So we're going to come back into this position. We're going to breathe out as we lower ourselves down where you're comfortable. And from here, we're going to just stretch to touch the side and come back up, and stretch to touch down the side of the other leg and come back up. And then come roll yourself back up again. Okay, so if it's really quite a challenge for you, don't go down too far. Just literally sit off, come off your sitting bone and just start to curl, and from there start to work side to side. If you can, lower yourself down a little bit further. Now we're really getting that connection through the deep core. It's breathe out, slide down, breathe in, come back, breathe out, slide the other arm down, breathe in, you'll come back, and then roll yourself back up again. Let's not hang out in that position too long because we're looking for mobility. It's bringing in some endurance anyway, but let's try and bring that rolling back up in between each one. So let's do a few more. Breathe out, lower yourself down. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, lengthen one arm down. Breathe in, draw it back up. Breathe out, lengthen it down again, opposite side. Breathe in, come back up, and then come all the way back up to sitting. Perfect. Good. Here we go again. Breathe out, lower it down. Good. Really try and get those ribs to connect down towards the hip as you lengthen that arm away. Draw back up. Think about the ribs coming down towards your hip and then draw back up and come back up to sitting. Let's do one more in this position. Breathe in, breathe out, lower you down. Good. Breathe out, lengthen. Breathe in, come back up. Breathe out and lengthen, and breathe in and roll back up again. Good. If you need to stretch out through your hip flexors, just stretch your legs away, push out through the chest, push your feet away. If you want even more of a stretch, you can lift up and actually open up through the hip flexors, depending on how comfortable your arms are feeling, how much you want to do. This may be just enough for you. Good. Okay, so we're going to make our way down onto the floor now. So we're going to start from here. We're going to roll down, but continue to go all the way. Let's see if we can try and keep it as a nice steady pace so that you don't just get halfway and collapse onto the floor. So sit up nice and tall, draw your tummy button in towards your spine. And as you breathe out, roll off your hips, roll your hips back. Think about placing each of those bones one by one into the mat. Keep the feet in contact with the mat. Control it down, control it down. There we go. With your arms, you can take them all the way over the top of your head so they're reaching towards the wall behind you, and push your feet away so you're coming into that full body stretch. Fantastic. Good. Really push your toes away to the opposite wall, push your hands away to the opposite wall, lengthen through the spine as much as you can. Good. And then bring your arms back down your side, towards your side. Now your hip flexors are probably burning a little bit. I know I can feel mine working. So let's go into our shoulder bridges so we're opening up through here before we start to work through the side again. Into neutral position, feet are hip width apart, knees are hip width apart. Just have a moment to think about where your spine is making contact with the mat, okay? So you should have contact through your pelvis, contact through your shoulder blades. The low part of your back should have a little bit of an arch in it, okay? So from here, we're going to draw your tummy button in towards your spine, and then you're going to keep drawing in as if you are drawing your pubic bone towards your tummy button, so the hips will roll back. The more you roll the hips back, the more your spine is making contact with the mat now. Okay, when you've got as far back as you can with that tilt of the pelvis, really squeeze in with your glute muscles, so your bottom muscles are now activating, and you're using your hips and your glutes to peel your spine up and away from the mat as you're traveling up into that ski slope position. Good. Now on the way back down, one by one, place each of the bones back down onto the mat. Really think about the order you're placing them down in. So you make sure that your low back does make some contact with the mat before your pelvis does. When your pelvis comes down onto the mat, then you can tilt your hips away from you so you get that neutral curve back in the spine. So don't forget to do that bit at the end, because that's the bit people forget. As soon as they make contact again, they're ready to go back up. But make sure you get that tilt back to neutral so that you have got that nice neutral curve in your spine again. Here we go. We're going to do 3 more shoulder bridges when you are ready. So tilt your hips backwards. Squeeze through the glutes as soon as you've got as far back as you can. Use your hips and your glutes to peel your spine up and away. Keep your feet nice and light so they're not digging in towards the mat. And then slowly release back down again, one by one. Each of those bones is going to make contact with the mat. Keep your bottom high until you have at least tried to get that lowest vertebra in contact with the mat. I know for some of you it's just not gonna touch. The more we practice, the better we'll get at it though. Okay, good. Pelvis back to neutral. Here we go again. Breathe out. Tilt your pelvis back towards you. Squeeze through your glutes. Peel yourself up one by one as you're lifting your spine away from the mat. Really squeezing with your glutes so your feet are nice and light on the mat. And on the way back down, just imagine like a string of pearls being placed back down onto a table, one by one. You can't put that last vertebra down until the one before it has made contact. There we go. And then your pelvis makes contact with the mat. Release your glutes and tilt back to neutral. Make sure as you start your exercise that your bottom muscle is relaxed. Okay, now tilt the pelvis. Squeeze your glutes. And peel your spine all the way up for our last one. There we go. Up nice and high. Just that extra squeeze through your glutes. Just see if you can get one more vertebra higher than you did last time. Fantastic. And then one by one, place your spine back down. Keep your pelvis high. Don't let your bottom drop. Curl your spine back down one by one. Perfect. Relax your glutes as you get back to neutral. Fantastic. Good. Right. We are going to go over onto your side. So let's come over onto one side. You're going to get nice and comfortable. Let's have your arm out straight so it creates that pillow for you. If you do need to grab a pillow, pop a pillow between your arm and your head if you need to. And what we're going to do, let's keep it relatively easy to start off with. I'll give you a variation if you want a bit more of a challenge, but let's get set up correctly. So shoulders are stacked on top of each other, hips are stacked on top of each other. Let's lengthen that top leg away so it helps to lift your waist up off the mat. So really think about lengthening that top leg. The longer you make it, the more it lifts your waist up. Help it out a little bit by drawing your tummy button in towards your spine. Okay, good. Take the top arm in front of you, but watch as you take it forwards, make sure your shoulder hasn't dropped and rolled forwards. Keep your shoulders stacked, just let your hand rest out in front of you. Okay, so this exercise, what we're going to do is as we take a breath in, we're going to raise the arm up towards the ceiling, take it a little bit further back. We're not going all the way back towards the floor. We're just going to take it to this position here. So you may feel a little bit of stretch with the chest, but what we're actually doing is checking that the top hip doesn't start to join us to go backwards. And you'll just feel that your deep core muscles are just starting to switch on here. Okay, but you haven't had to do too much work for it. That's it. Breathe out as you come back. We're going to do a breath in as you come up. That's it. So for some of you, it may switch on, your abs may switch on just with the arm directly above you. Others, you may just have to drop your arm back a little bit behind you, and then you'll start to feel it switch on and then draw it back. So we're trying not to make the exercise too difficult at the moment, so that you are really focusing your attention to what's going on to the muscles underneath your tummy button. So as you get your arm to sort of 90 degrees up, or possibly a little bit further back, you should feel those abdominals switching on. If you don't, you can grate a little bit more of a challenge by going with both legs out straight, but make sure everything is in line. Okay, you're going to have to work harder now as you lift the arm up. You're going to have to work hard to maintain so the hips don't start to roll backwards. Now you should really be feeling it starting to switch on, and then lower the arm back down again. Good. You may also feel a little bit wobbly, so you may just want a little bit of a bend of the bottom leg, just so that you're not too wobbly. But if you've got good balance, go for it. Keep both legs straight if you can. That's it. Good. Let's do one more. When you're ready, let's do this last one. Watch your shoulder hasn't dropped forwards. Keep your shoulders stacked. Nice breath in as you lift up. Hips stay stacked. That's the key. Make sure your hips stay stacked. So as you take your arm up, I'm just feeling that abdominals starting to switch on. Perfect. Good. And then lower the arm back down again. Fantastic. Okay, good. Now we're going to bring the arm closer towards you and just put it on the mat. So we're going to create some connection with your hand. So you're going to push your hand down into your mat. So you'll feel your shoulder muscles start to engage a little bit. I'm going to keep both legs straight from this point here, because now we've got our arm to stabilize. Okay, just check your waist hasn't dropped down towards the mat. Lift up through your waist and lengthen that top leg away. Okay, here we go. First part of the exercise, breathe out as you lift the top leg. And breathe in as it comes back down again. Good. Breathe out as you lift it. Breathe in as it comes back down. Keep your toes and your ankle nice and floppy. The work is coming from your hip. Good. Now, as you lift the leg up, the waist is going to want to drop down. So make sure that your awareness is with your waist, so you're lifting up. Because remember, we're working those muscles today. That's our focus. Okay, breathe out as you lift up. Breathe in as it comes down. Keep that waist lifted. Good. Breathe out to lift up. Breathe in to lower down. Last two, as you're lifting the leg up, imagine it's getting lengthened at the same time. So it's drawing towards the wall behind you or beside you. There we go. Last one, lift and lower it back down again. Okay, here we go for a little bit more of a challenge. And if you find this challenge a bit too much, you're going to return to that exercise if you need to. So here we go. We're going to lift the top leg up. You're going to keep it hip width apart. So you don't want to lift it too high for this one. You lift it to hip width. Okay, now draw in a little bit tighter through your tummy button. Keep your waist lifted and see if you can bring the bottom leg up as well. Okay, it doesn't have to meet. Okay, you're not bringing it right up to touch, but bring it so you're rolling it, lifting it off of the mat and it's hovering. Lower it down and then lower the top leg down. Here we go. We breathe out, lift the top leg to hip width. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, draw the bottom leg up and lower the bottom leg and lower the top leg. Okay, so you will notice again as you lift, well, even the top leg, but even more so when you lift that bottom leg, what will want to happen is this bit here will drop down towards the mat. So keep lifting your waist up. Even if that bottom leg doesn't actually leave the ground, but you've just really tried to recruit all the muscles to lift, that's enough. You don't have to actually get the bottom leg to leave the mat to make the exercise still functional. Okay, here we go. Lift the top leg hip width. Really prepare through your tummy button and imagine you're about to lift that bottom leg. There we go. If it can float up, allow it to. If it doesn't, don't worry. Just keep that waist away from the mat. Lower the bottom leg, lower the top leg. Good. There we go. Top leg up, bottom leg up, bottom leg down, top leg down. Good. Lift through the waist. Keep that switched on the whole way. Top leg up, bottom leg up, bottom leg down, top leg down. Both legs are stretching away from you. They're lengthening as you're lifting. Okay, keeping your waist up from the mat and lower down. Good. Let's do 2 more sets. Lift, lift, lower, lower. If you want to work with the breathing, breathe out as you go up. Breathe in as you're lowering them back down again. Fantastic. Good. Bring your knees in towards you. Give the muscle a little bit of a rub. Fantastic. Good. Let's swap over onto the other side and do the other side now. Okay. So into our line on your side position, let's get the shoulders stacked on top of each other, hips stacked on top of each other, and we're going to lengthen that top leg out. Okay, so just take time to get into that setup position. It's important you get the setup right before we do any of the exercise, otherwise nothing works well. Lengthen that top leg away from you as much as you can, thinking about lifting your waist up from the mat, okay? And the more you're in this position, the more you'll feel your abdominals or your deep core starting to switch on anyway, without you having to physically think about drawing your tummy button towards your spine. Okay, check your hips are stacked on top, check your shoulders are stacked on top, and take that top arm in front of you. Make sure your shoulder's still back and it hasn't started to roll you down towards the mat. Here we go. We're going to take a nice breath in as you float your arm up towards the ceiling. Okay, now take it to a point where you start to feel your deep abdominals start to switch on a little bit more, and then float the arm back down again. Good. There we go. Breathe out. Float the arm up. It doesn't actually matter whether you breathe in or breathe out. It's actually the movement that's going. It's as you take your arm up, you're feeling this deep core start to switch on. So don't get yourself too confused with the breathing. Just make sure you are breathing in or out on the way up, in or out on the way down. It doesn't actually matter for this movement. Good. So for some of you, it's going to be 90 degrees. You're going to start to feel it switch on. For others, you might just need to just extend the arm back behind you a little bit more. As you take your arm back, watch your hip doesn't follow you, because if your hip follows you, you're not going to get anything switching on through here. But if you keep that hip stacked on top, and for some of you, may just need to just almost encourage it forward. So just push it forwards as you take your arm back, and then you'll feel the muscle switching on. Good. And then lower it back down again. Keep lengthening through the arm, so we're creating a bit of movement through the shoulder as well. Lift up. Check your waist hasn't gone down towards the mat. Lift up through your waist, because that will also help you switch it on. If you're doing this and you're thinking, well, I'm not sure if it's working, lift your waist up and really focus on keeping those hips stacked on top of each other. As you take your arm back, watch your hip hasn't gone back. You may need to do a little push forwards, and then you should feel it switching on. Perfect. Let's do last one. Good. Breathe. Don't hold your breath. There we go. And let your arm relax back down again. Good. This top arm now is coming closer to you, and you're just going to use it to push in towards the mat. And we're going to take both legs out straight. Okay. So imagine your back is against a straight wall, or a brick wall if you like, and that you haven't started to bring your legs too far forwards. If you're really wobbly from this position, you can slightly bring your feet forward so they're off of that sort of neutral line, just to keep the balance. But let's try and keep in line as much as we can. So lengthen that top leg away, so it's lifting your waist up. Remember, that's the focus. You might not physically lift your waist off of the mat. There may still be contact, but think of the engagement of the muscle. Top hand is pushing into the mat, which is going to help you lift your waist. And let's just start with the top leg. Lengthen it away. Breathe out as your leg comes up, and breathe in as it comes back down again. Good. Lengthen the leg away. Think lift your waist as you lift the leg up, and think lift your waist as you lower the leg back down again. Good. Breathe out to lift, And breathe in to lower it back down again. Fantastic, good. Breathe out to lift. And breathe in to come back down. Good. Keep lengthening that leg, lifting the waist. Good. If you feel that you're getting a lot of tension build up around your kneecap, try and just tell your quad muscles to switch off. So sometimes these muscles want to join in the party a little bit. Okay, try and make sure it's the muscles in the side of your pelvis that are doing the lifting rather than the muscles at the front. Good, here we go. Breathe out to lift. And breathe in as you come back down. Let's do last one like this. Breathe out as you lift. And breathe in as it comes back down again. Okay, here we go. Here's the tough part. Remember, you can always go back to this exercise if you need to, if this other exercise is a little bit too much. Leg comes up to hip width apart, okay, as you're breathing out. Then really keep lifting up through the waist still. Lift the second leg and lower the bottom leg, lower the top leg. Here we go again. Lift, breathing out. Breathing out, lift the second leg. Lower the second leg, lower the top leg. So if this is quite difficult or you're completely collapsing through the waist, remember we can go to lift the top leg and then imagine, so really think about lifting the bottom leg, but don't actually lift it. Take it to that point, whereas if you just went one part more, your leg would lift up, okay? But because you've not lifted the leg, we can still keep that strong engagement through the waist, and then relax it, and then relax the top leg. Okay, good. Work with what works for you. As long as you're thinking about keeping your waist off of the mat, it doesn't matter if you don't actually lift that bottom leg. Good. A few more. Breathe out as you're going up and breathe in as we're going down. Try not to lift the top leg too high, because if you do, then you're just making it really hard for yourself to keep your waist off the mat. You know, if you lift the leg up here and do that, you're really going to collapse your side back down. So make it easy for yourself. Make sure you just stick with hip width and lift and lower. Good. Let's do the last one. Breathe out and lift the bottom leg. Relax and bring it down. Bring those knees in. Fantastic. Give all the bits that feel like they've worked a bit of a rub. Super. Okay, and we're going to take you onto your back. Okay, so neutral position on your back. Feet hip width apart, knees hip width apart. Let's just rotate through the knees. So let's do a nice easy one to rotate through the waist, and then we'll switch it on again. So I said hip width apart, I was lying. I'm going to get you to bring your feet and your knees together. Okay, so get comfortable, feet together, knees together. As you breathe out, drop knees down to one side. And breathe in, draw them back to the center. Breathe out as you drop them down towards the other side. And breathe in as you draw them back up to center. Now, let's make your pelvis muscles do the work. So gravity will allow the knees to drop down. Your hip's going to start to raise, so the opposite hip's going to start to come up. Okay, now work to go back down. So push the hip down, and as you push your hip down, you're going to feel your tummy button drawing in towards your spine, and the legs will just float back up again. Off to the other side. Breathe out as your knees drop down. Allow the hip just to raise off of the mat. Here we go, we're working now. So push the hip down into the mat and the knees should just float back. You've switched all the muscles in the sides of your legs off. Okay, breathe out, drop the knees down. Hip raises up. And now work through your hip. Draw your tummy button down towards your spine. Really engage with that muscle. It's the work, doing the work to draw the legs back up. Good. Breathe out, opposite side. Drop the knees down, let the hip come up. Now work your hip down into the mat and the knees just float up. And the more you push your hip down into the mat, the more your deep core's sort of switching on anyway. So you haven't really got to think about drawing your tummy button to your spine. It should naturally start to do that anyway. Let's do one more to each side. Breathe out as you drop your knees down. Hip raises up and you're rotating down, and then draw your hip down into the mat. There we go. You can really feel my abdominals switching on now. It's actually quite a strong action if you get it, if you really engage it and connect with that muscle. Breathe out, drop down to the last side. Hip comes up. Really think about drawing the hip down, stabilizing through the hips. The legs are not doing any work, they're just floating back up. Fantastic, good. Right, draw your knees in towards your chest. Let's just loosen off through your low back. Few circles round one way. Lovely. And then a few circles around the other way. Good. Right, take yourself back. We are in neutral position this time. So feet are hip width apart, knees are hip width apart. You're going to pop your hands behind your head and open your elbows out. Ideally, if your elbows can relax down onto the mat, that's fine. But if your shoulders are quite tight and your elbows end up a little bit higher up, then that's fine. Don't force them down. Just go where they're comfortable. We need to switch off all of the neck muscles. We need to switch off all the head muscles and your jaw muscle and everything sort of upwards of the base of your neck. Okay, all of that's going to be nice and relaxed. We are going to do a roll up from the top. I want you to think about switching on through your shoulder blades. So draw your shoulder blades down into your back pockets. And as you breathe out, push your shoulder blades into the mat as you draw your ribs down in towards your hips, and we're starting to peel up. And breathe in as you roll back down again. So this is why I said you need to switch off all those muscles, because your arms are not lifting your head, your neck's not lifting your head. It's the contraction through your shoulders that just start to roll through the upper part of your spine, which will allow the head to roll forwards. And then slowly roll it back again. Okay, if you're well practiced at this one and you can switch off all the muscles in your neck and your head and everything, then carry on with this exercise. If you're struggling and really feel like you're using your neck, grab a pillow and put it underneath your head so it's already raised up a little bit. Okay, we'll spend a little bit of time on this exercise if you need to go and grab a pillow. Okay, so draw your shoulder blades down, push your shoulder blades into the mat. Think about drawing your ribs down towards your pelvis, and then lower your shoulders back down again and let your head relax down onto the mat. Good. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out. Push the shoulder blades down. Slowly lift and relax back down again. Fantastic. Good. Let's do a couple more in your own time. If you need to stop and you feel like your neck's hurting too much, then just take a break. Breathe out as you peel up. And breathe in as you lower back down again. Good. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, peel up. A little bit higher this time. And then lower back down again. Right, last one. Really feel about, it's the opposite of your shoulder bridge. So feel like you're lifting an extra vertebra off this time. So when you're ready, breathe out. Draw yourself up. Go for that extra vertebra. Oh, we can do it. There we go. And one by one back down again. Okay, give yourself a second to relax. If you need to take your arms out if they feel uncomfortable, just shake your arms down and I'll show you what we're going to do for the next time. So if you were finding that's quite a challenge, maybe you need an extra pillow to help you out, to have a little try with that. If you're with me still, pop your hands are going to go behind your head again. We're going to peel up, so we're engaging through the shoulders, we're peeling up. Now from here, we're going to take one elbow down towards the side. And then release back up again slowly. Opposite side, breathe out, squeeze that elbow down towards your side and release back again. And then roll the spine back down. So I can manage to do all of that without taking any tension through the neck. So, like I say, if you need the pillow, take the pillow. If you feel that you were working hard enough, just rolling up and rolling down, stick with that. But if we want that extra challenge, let's go for the sides. Let's do a couple more. So here we go. Breathe out, peel yourself up, really push your shoulder blades into the mat. And you're going to breathe out as you slide down to one side and breathe in, come back to center. Breathe out, slide yourself down towards the knee and come back. And it's not a big movement that you're doing coming down towards the side, but you should feel it switching on. So you're thinking about drawing the ribs down towards your hips. So it's switching on through here. What I'm not doing is just sort of doing a wiggle between my shoulder blades. I'm really switching on through the muscles through there. Okay, good. So we breathe out, lift up, really switch those muscles on. They are drawing your arms down. And then you release the muscle as you come back up to center. Other side, really think about drawing that muscle between your ribs and your hips, squeezing, and then it's releasing as you're coming back to center. Good. Lower yourself back down again. Fantastic. Let's just do the last one when you're ready. Breathe out. Really think about fixing the ribs down, arching up from that upper part of your back. Squeeze as you draw your elbow down and release as you come back to center. Good, and squeeze the muscle as you come down to the other side. Come back to center and lower the spine back down. Good. Do whatever feels good for your back. You might want a full body stretch. You might want knees to chest. Do whatever feels good at the moment. Let's loosen out through the spine. When you've had your stretch, we're going to come back up onto all fours and we're going to have a go at threading the needle just to loosen off through all the work that we've done today. Fantastic. So finish off the stretch that you're doing. Very gently take yourself up to sitting and then pivot yourself over onto all fours. Good. So this is the position that we want, nice and flat through the back. We have shoulders above your wrists, hips above your knees. So when we're in this position, fantastic. We're going to take one arm. You're going to take a nice breath in as you open up through the chest. And as you breathe out, it slides between your hand and your knee, and you're going to lengthen it all the way through as your shoulder comes down towards the mat. Hold it here. We're going to hold it for a breath cycle. Breathe in and breathe out. And on your next in-breath, sweep it all the way through, all the way up and out. Open through the chest. Good, and breathe out. Blow your arm through. Hold it for a breath cycle. Breathe in. Breathe out. On the next in-breath, sweep it through. Keep breathing in. Nice deep breath in as you open up. Good. And then breathe out. Blow the arm through. Let's see if we can get a little bit further through the stretch this time. Good. Hold it for a breath cycle. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in, last one, open up through the chest. Good, breathe out, sweep the arm through. Stretch it as far as you can. Breathe in, hold. Breathe out, lengthen. And come back to all fours. We're going on the other side now. So here we go, nice breath in as you open up towards the ceiling. Good, breathe out, sweep it through, lengthen the arm through. Head comes down towards the mat. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out, see if you can just stretch a little bit further from there. And then a nice breath in as we rotate through, really open up through the chest. Good, breathe out. Push the arm through, really stretch, feel that lengthening through your shoulders. Breathe in to hold, breathe out, lengthen. Breathe in, sweep the arm up. Good, get more movement each time you do it. Breathe out, stretch your arm through. Good, breathe in to hold. Breathe out, just see if you can get a tiny bit further forwards. Breathe in, last one. Open wide out. Good, breathe out, stretch it through. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out to lengthen. And breathe in, come back onto, we're going to get you into sitting. We're going to really stretch out through the side. So if you can sit into this position, we've got one knee bent in front of you, the other leg tucked behind you. If you struggle with this, you can do it with your legs crossed. Pop yourself up on a pillow will also make it easier. If we can get into this position, we're going to stretch out through those muscles. The leg that is bent in front of you, pop your hand down towards the side. The other arm, you're going to reach up towards the ceiling, really stretch and lengthen. So lift yourself out of your pelvis and allow the ribs to push up. So we're really arching through the, like curving through the spine so you get that stretch over. Okay, so you should really feel it stretching through here. Good. And then let the ribs come down and your arms will come up. Okay, so we lift and lengthen through the arm first, then shift the ribs and then start to arch over. There you go, so you get a really nice stretch there. Good. There we go. One more on this side, so let's lengthen, shift the ribs and reach over. Good, see if you can get a little bit further. Really push to your fingertips if you can. And very gently just soften through the ribs and bring yourself up. I'm going to swap the legs over, so spin them round. Okay, good. Hopefully you can get comfortable in this position. Remember, if you can't, you might find you're okay one side but not so good the other, so cross your legs if you need to. Leg that is bent in front of you, your hand comes towards the side, other arm goes up towards the ceiling. So think about lengthening, reach up as tall as you can, shift through the ribs, so you're creating that opening through the ribs, and then allow yourself to come over. Fantastic. Good, and then just gently come back up. Lift and lengthen through the arm, shift the ribs, and then come over. Good. And then come back up. Now I'm not making a big thing about the breathing, but don't hold your breath as you do this. Lift, lengthen, shift the ribs, and come over. Good. Keep breathing. And just gently bring yourself back. Let the arm come down. Perfect. We're going to get you up to your feet. So let's just go midway to all fours. Tuck your toes under and then go up into that down dog position, and we'll walk through your feet. So we get a little bit of a stretch through the legs, and then very slowly walk your feet towards your hands towards your feet. So you're at the bottom of that roll down position. Soften through your, well, keep your knees soft, but get them straight, not locked back, but soft. From here, tuck under with your hips. So roll your hips forward so that your hips are stacked on top of your knees. And as you carry on working your way up through the spine, one by one are stacking on top of each other until you come up, standing nice and tall. Shoulders are away from your ears. Circle through your shoulders. Good. And a nice breath in as you come up. And breath out as you come down. Perfect. Breathe in to come up. And breathe out to come down. Onto your tiptoes so we fully stretch. Breathe in to come up. And breathe out to come down. Last one. Breathe in, come up. And breathe out to come down. Well done, everybody. Hopefully you feel a little bit more stretched than you did 45 minutes ago. Good. Thanks, guys. See you next time.